Just a couple of quick stories here for you, and then I'll pick up your phone calls. In Chernobyl, there is a crisis happening well, actually, it's not happening in Chernobyl anymore. It's moved to Belarus. Because in Belarus, there is a hospital. It's one of the few hospitals in the region that specializes in treating people with radiation poisoning. And remember 3-4 weeks ago at the very beginning of the war of Putin's invasion of Ukraine when they took Chernobyl? And everybody was like, I mean, people called into the program going, what's this? Is he going to, bomb? Is he going to blow up Chernobyl? That doesn't make any sense because Russia's downwind from Chernobyl. Why would he do that? And my response was, if you look on a map, you see that, from the place in Russia or Belarus where the Russians are invading Ukraine, from there to Kyiv, Chernobyl's kind of in the middle of that path. I think that they were just securing the nearby highways and things. But they actually, the Russian soldiers had been told to dig trenches in the area around Chernobyl. Well, the soil there has, for years, been saturated with radioactive elements. We heard about the dust being kicked up and more radiation, Geiger counters kicking up around because the dust was getting into the air. But the heaviest elements on Earth, in your dirt, the heaviest particles of the dirt are what are called transactinides. They're the uranium and plutonium and all these elements that are created by fission. And those elements being heavier than the stuff in soil, the silica that makes up most soil particles, or the even things like iron and stuff that might appear in soil. Because they're heavier, over time, as it rains and rains and rains and whatnot, they sink down into the earth. And so here it's been 30 some odd years, I think, since Chernobyl, and 40 years, whatever it's been, and so that heavy saturation of radiation that happened in May and June and July of 1986 has now worked its way down to 2 or 3 feet below the surface. So Putin tells the people to go in and dig trenches, prepare for trench warfare. They dug the trenches, and guess what? They got exposed to so much radiation that they're starting to die. Over at the Daily Beast, quote, several hundred Russian soldiers were forced to hastily withdraw from the Chernobyl nuclear plant in Ukraine after suffering acute radiation sickness, ARS, from contaminated soil. The troops reportedly dug trenches in the contaminated Red Forest. Now, this is called the Red Forest because after Chernobyl melted down, all these pine trees turned bright red. They died. Or they changed their behavior, shall we say. Local reports suggest that 7 buses with zapped troops arrived in Gomel. This is in Belarus, the special medical facility, early Thursday. Journalists on the ground have also reported ghost buses of dead soldiers being transported from Belarus to Russia under the cover of darkness. Russia has officially announced that they're withdrawing from Chernobyl as part of an effort to scale back the invasion. We're going to be nice people now. No, they're preparing to bomb the crap out of Kyiv. So anyway, there's that. Plus, I've got a crazy alert for you on the other side of the break, and then your phone calls in just a few minutes. It is 27 minutes past the hour. It's Talk Media for the Sane Among Us, the Thom Hartmann program. We'll be back with my very brief story about horse dewormers and Trumpies and your calls.